A big conversation of the day. We are also live on the Metasphere, on the Metaspace. How you doing? What's the worst relationship advice you've ever received from family or friends? First, let us start with, just because you're older doesn't mean you're wiser. You've heard of the phrase an old fool. But I find it very hilarious when sometimes you get unsolicited advice from an older family, an older relative, an older family friend, an older neighbor. And it's hilarious because how things were set up back then and how things are set up now. Sometimes I'm even lost when it comes to matters dating and stuff like that. Absolute.
Yes.
Have you ever gone to a relative of yours, an older one in particular, for some advice, and you're like, why in the world did I even bother speaking to you?
Yeah.
Please, do tell. Do tell. Because you laughed, so something came to mind. That's what I want to hear.
You know, this relationship, marriage, this thing is not for the faint-hearted. This thing.
It's not.
It's not for the faint-hearted. For those who are in marriage and doing 2-3 years, guys, I give you guys credit because men. So anyway, I went to one of, should I say, a family friend or something. And then the supposed person I was dating was busy gallivanting out there.
Yeah.
Hashtag cheating. Anyway. So, yeah.
Gallivanting, hashtag.
Yeah.
Where cheating is cheating. Don't downplay it.
See, that's gallivanting. Yeah.
Please tell me what you were told by your
Anyway, I
relative.
go to this, my relative. We talk, and then...
An auntie and an uncle. I'm sorry. I have a little bias today against our older aunties.
They happen to be both of them. Both, you know.
Your auntie and your uncle.
So I'm like, yeah, so we talk, and then, yeah. They're like, so how long? They're like, so how long has this been going on? I'm like, for quite a while. Hey, you know, it's because you have not given her work to do. I'm like, what are you talking about?
She has a job.
She has a job. You're like, no.
She's still cheating.
Ako na nguvu mingi sana. So I'm like, what? They told me, mpatie mimba atatulia. I'm just like, yo.
No, wait, first, stop. I wish there was music so we can stop it for some dramatic effect. How many people, by a show of hands, have been told that for a woman to chill and calm down, she must be pregnant?
Yeah.
Me, I don't know who took our relatives to school, but that school was...
See, the problem is that she has no work to do. She's not busy at home. So I'm like, so now how is that helping my case? I'm telling you this girl is cheating. She's sleeping around and you're telling me the way at Hana Kazi.
When you get her pregnant, everything would magically stop. But do you understand that if you get this girl pregnant, that now she's permanently in your life? This your cheat.
Yeah.
You want to give her a baby, so she's permanently in your life.
Listen, this person will give birth, leave the baby there and go back to her social life. That social life that they were doing. Yeah.
I think we're in unison today, even our producer Mumbi, except Edna from the Situation Room, who says absolute is a walking red flag. That's another conversation for another day. It just came to my earpiece.
Being a DJ. Anyway, yeah.
But Mumbi says older aunties always have a knack for very bad, mostly unsolicited advice. Yes. I remember once crying over a dude, and this was when I just started dating. I think it was just fresh from high school. You know, you go to college, you see some very good looking. Shout outs to all the black men, because y'all is fine. God was in a good mood. He must have had a steak when he was making y'all, because y'all are fine. So I went to college, and of course, oh my God, I'm like, see, these dudes are fine. In fact, it was someone from probably your area code, Go Ingo. And I was crying over him because he was just being trifling, which is, happens a lot in relationships. And I'm crying, and then one of my older brothers is like, you're crying over a dude. He's like, these people are not for loving. I'm like, wait, what? This is someone who's married even to my relative.
Yeah.
I'm related to her through marriage. She's like, you don't love a man. That's the biggest mistake. These guys are not for loving. Can they provide well? They are good looking. Your children look good. They know all those other activities. So why are you fussing? Why are you fussing? She's like, you'll see a lot more of that when you're married. I'm like, why would you tell a 20-year-old that there's no, in short, you're saying in a nutshell, there's no joy in marriage. We're just there because, to pass time, catch a breeze, have children, raise them, and die together. So I'm like, older doesn't always mean wiser. We've had so many things. Have you had, this is the most hilarious advice I had. My child was crying. She was a bit colicky when she was little. And my relative, I won't say what gender, is like, mpatie
Sister.
beer.
A beer.
Yeah. Just give the baby beer. It's the stomach. It'll stop. I'm like, what in the world? Then they go on to say how your folks used to give you beer when you were little. Even you used to cry. We just used to give you beer a little. I'm like, look how I turned out. I'm serious. You've never had that?
No, I have. In fact, I've seen it happen in front of me a couple of times.
Even your family gives children
I'm like,
alcohol when they're little. Black people are foul.
No, but that baby slept out like a light. She was always running there.
Please do not come at us.
Yeah.
First, I have no even two bob to sue. Nobody has said give your child booze. We are talking about the things you shouldn't do because you're told by your older relative. Hey! Eh?
I know another chick. This chick was beaten. Back I was just like, what? This guy did this to you at Imagine. So she went to her folks. And those aunties of her just happened to be around that day. They called her for, kamkutano.
Yeah.
Kamkutano in English is meeting.
Yes.
On the side. They're like, come, let's talk, my daughter.
Yeah, our daughter. What is going on in your marriage?
And she's crying. She's like, this guy beat me because I found him cheating. So she's like, no, najua huyo. Don't. When you find such thing, don't be violent towards him. Don't accost him.
Yeah,
Just
don't be aggressive.
Don't be aggressive. Sit him down and seated over there. And I'm like, sit him down and ask him politely. How are you asking politely how someone is sitting on you? Tell me in polite words. Yolanda. Oh, you're sleeping.
First, I loved how they would downplay a man cheating on you or a man who's hit you. But are the children fed? First, you've driven here in your car to tell us that man beat you. Look at the life he's given you. Who is going to give you this life?
Manze? That time she was like, no, but you see, you're doing well. The children are going to school. Has he ever missed paying school fees? That's a random question you're being asked.
And this guy turned you into a punching bag.
Has he ever missed paying? Unakula vizuri. You're dressing well. Look at the car that you came in. It's nice.
If you think Absolute and I are on like some mild drugs that we can take and pass through a security check at SG, please, the day your man doesn't come home, call an older auntie. Then come we discuss it. Yeah. Auntie, you're complaining. You've called us wasting credit because your man didn't come home. Kwani, are you a watchman? Why are you sumboing these men? Sometimes they don't come home. What?
They told you, relax. Wait, relax. Bad though.
Auntie, how many months hasn't he come home? Auntie, he hasn't come for how many months? But there's food in the fridge.
Yeah.
My daughter, use that airtime to check, other things.
It was like, Mimi kwanza kujangi siku 7. Are you seeing me? Look at me. I am now 56 years old. I'm okay. I'm still okay.
Like, you see your little cousin Musioka. I had Musioka after your uncle had disappeared for 5 good years. I don't know where he was when he came. 2 weeks later, we were pregnant. I'm like, good God, why? Leave your older aunties alone. Stop going to them for advice. Half of it is cray-cray. When we come back, your comments. We have had such a hilarious time laughing at some of the comments here. My goodness. Yolanda and DJ Absolute is 25-1. Remember, we have Box Office, your visual entertainment plug coming up. But before that, your comments on our big conversation today, what around town. What's the worst advice? What's the worst relationship advice you've ever received from family or friends? Absolute?
Yes. There is Caroline Forbes who said, date a man who loves you and not the one you love. You end up spending every moment wishing he breaks up with you, but he never does. And you can't do it because you have invested together. And also, you don't want to hurt him. You wish he cheats or hits you so that you can have an quote unquote out. But it never happens. And so you end up staying with sincerely unhappy, secretly unhappy because you never loved him.
Well, Emmanuel Kipkemboi Kogo says his worst advice from one of his relatives was quit school and start training for marathon. Keep jogging. You must come from that neighborhood, where there are stars who are stars on the track. Yeah. Where? What else absolute have you seen?
Ondera Edna says, hey, Yolanda Mulwa, I must admit the advices that I've been receiving so far from my friends look like the worst nightmare. Imagine because she had failed relationships, she says, her friend asked her to try older men. That was what she told us.
These young boys are no. Have you ever been told by one of your relatives you stop dating attractive people?
Yeah.
Because attractive people will always break your heart and cheat on you.
Like, you see, here is your shida ndio hapa. Ona wangu. Najua yuko tu.
And meanwhile, that's your relative.
Yeah.
As we don't marry handsome men, they will stress you. Look at your dad. What? And like, why are you insulting my dad? But yeah.
Then there's Brian Albert says, don't date, marry. The advice was like, don't date or marry from specific backgrounds. They see you with anyone at first, they think they ask, where are they from?
It's true. Yolanda is from Ukambani. Ooh, those people don't have water. That place does not rain. In fact, Ukambani is a big rock. Hey. Wachawi. That is where all the witches and wizards come from her village. That's why you don't tell your relatives about your person's ethnicity until your relationship is solid. They always have something to say about where your person comes from. Kate Quinn says she remembers one of her friends who was trying to mislead her into being a drunk, but the good thing, God guided her. And they were separated before she could continue taking every sip of all types of hard drinks. You're like describing my growing up. I don't think those are my bad friends. We had really awesome times. But yeah, Riswa, that was really bad, Kate Queen. Thank you so much for sharing your terrible experience partying. The Lord saved you.
Fiona Aim Beth, as long as he's not violent, stay. Yeah.
Aki, African moms, yo, should do better. The way there's a men's conference, we should have a women's conference.
Not
because the only evil things to African parents is, does he beat you? Yeah. Then leave him alone. A little cheating has never hurt anyone. That's when they reveal. Your uncle, your dad, all these people, all of them have had extramarital affairs. Have you seen us living? A good woman never leaves her home.
You see that kaboy who normally comes here? That kaboy.
That is your brother.
I was not supposed to tell this, but
that is your brother. That is your brother. Do you see our neighbors on the other side? The guys who bought that land, the bottom near the river. But see your dad. That is your brother.
Yeah, so you remember going there? You took shopping. Yeah.
And you only went to say your girlfriend is cheating on you. Now you caught a relative. Oh my God. Being black sometimes is just too much.
You've been calling her auntie. She your stepmom, son.
And then these older women, our aunties, when they sip, please sit next to them. Hey, it's bombs after bombs after bombs.